so good. This is a 2002 Pontiac Firebird Firehawk. It's not just any Firebird Firehawk, it's my Firebird Firehawk. We didn't find out until 5 days after purchase that this is the very last Firehawk they ever made.
The last one.
The last one. There are officially 1,503 Firebird Firehawks made in the year 2002, which is the last year of production.
Yeah.
This is number 1,503, the very last Firehawk ever to be made.
Somehow, somewhere, you found it.
Yeah.
Boom. Here it is.
Yep.
And
we're still going to modify it. We're still going to modify it.
You stumbled in to buying a piece of history. You just happened to find the last Firebird Firehawk.
Yeah, so I knew it was a special car because it's got signatures. Turns out, to my knowledge, that's the only one that's signed by these guys, Ed Hamburger, Troy, and the rest of the people at SLP that put hands on this car. Turns out it's also the only one that SLP Troy's name is all over, and apparently this is sort of his preferred spec. There was supposed to be like 1,501. Another 2 slipped through, and there's some rumblings that there may be another 2, you know, like non-official, nobody knows where they're at, but this is the last official one built. Actually, this wasn't even for public consumption.
Yeah.
This was an addition to car. There's a specialty build for a special person. This wasn't really intended to ever be in the public purchasing circle, and the second owner traded it into CarMax.
Little scooty scoot.
Yeah, it doesn't like the wet. That was traction control, by the way.
Yeah,
that's how quickly it pulls it and gives it right back. It's not like the modern GM traction controls
where it's like
you're done for the day. No more fun.
Old school rocker switch for traction control.
There's no secret button. You just click it once, everything's off. Click it again, everything's back on. There's no hold it. There's no do the key.
Stand on one foot.
Yeah, doing the nothing.
All right, I see what you mean about the T-tops. It's not like overly noisy in here.
It's not buffeting.
And it feels very stiff, even here in the passenger seat. This is just solidifying even more what I want. I've had my checklist for decades, and that makes me feel old just saying it. This just solidifies that.
There are clean models out there. 2 cup holders, pop-up headlights, LS1.
Ashtray under the...
T56. What else do you need? Stiff chassis. This does have the SLP Firehawk performance package. Part of that is not just dampers and springs and all that stuff. It actually has extra chassis rigidity components underneath of it that are not on any other model. Everyone stares at you. Every Altima is at the rev line when they're trying to knock your side mirrors off. I mean, we went on an afternoon cruise with my wife, 2 kids, T-tops off. Storm was coming in tonight, so it was cloudy. There was no sun on us. Super nice. And the whole time, just wow, fucking Altimas and Sentras and Honda Civic Sports and just everything. Everything wants to antagonize you.
This thing is approaching antique status, classic status.
It don't feel like an antique.
No.
If this came out today, people would gripe about the interior.
As they always do with GM products.
And then they would buy it anyway. It's just too good.
Violent kick in the pants.
In 1,000 years, this will be dust.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to permanently preserve anything. We're all going to die. All the cars are going to rust away. Hopefully Jesus gets here sooner than later because it's getting rough out there, guys. But it's not too rough when you're driving a Firebird. So I don't own a museum. I'm not a collector. I'm a modifier. I'm a hot rodder. I like going to the track.
You
the guys that built this
help
car.
yourself. Before I ever saw it with my own eyes,
Yep.
you had made a modification.
Yeah, I've already, we're on the portion called high school special, right? So the first thing you do is cold air intake and muffler delete. So I had been told that the standard height ram air intake from SLP is all that you could fit under here. The high rise or the big mouth, it's an inch taller by, you know, a little bit over 12 inches wide. It's an inch taller, wouldn't fit under the hood. They're about 160 bucks. I went ahead and said, I'll let you know for sure. And it for sure does. So I now have the high rise that has much less restriction on the intake, and the lid, the Blackling lid, which is well regarded as by far the best lid to have on this, does still fit. So better intake, muffler delete. That's where we're at right now. So this is also a little bit of, do we start a Patreon and let people be part of history? Because this is going to be making history.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get these guys to re-sign the other strut tower brace. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that's really what I'm pushing for by end of build for this car. So my idea on this is, everyone says swap it for a 6-liter iron block. If this wasn't a special car, I would do that. I want for this to be a slice in time. We're leaving the standard heart of the engine in there. Aluminum block LS1. We're gonna put a better breathing manifold on top, probably a fast LSXR. It's about a $1,300 piece of plastic that goes on top, but man, does it make 45 extra horsepower alone. And then we're gonna do a cam, something that's not screaming way up at 7,000 RPM. I want a nice broad torque band, so that way you can still be a street driver, because this is not gonna be a drag strip car. We're gonna put better heads on it, have the heads ported, long tube header, true dual exhaust, 3-inch all the way back with an X-pipe, give it a tune for 93 octane, and basically that's gonna be your time machine.
Now, you said something that like hit here with me, because you said, imagine being back in 2000.
Just imagine.
I was scrambling for pennies to try and buy one of these with my older brother so badly.
Can you just imagine being that old? That would be crazy.
And
2002, I was in
sophomore,
fourth grade. I was fourth grade. Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
God. Oh God.
So these weren't even on my radar, really. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about driving at that point.
I was drooling over these. Me and my brother wanted, I'm a Camaro guy, I wanted the Camaro SS so bad.
We'll get one.
We will get one. The writing on the wall.
We're building this F-body mild. Then we're gonna get a less special.
Yeah.
We gotta specifically find a less special Camaro and go wild. I'm talking about twin turb skis dumping out from under it, spitting fire. This one's too clean and too special.
So you want to know an absolute travesty of my life?
Yes.
I've sat in 4th gen F-body cars.
When was that?
Years ago. Like,
was it brand new on the showroom floor?
It was.
It's been that long.
I've never driven one.
Here we
are.
Ever.
This is like first time.
I've driven 2. Both are trailer park specials, and I just assumed they were all pieces of big fat dog shit. Turns out it was just poor owner maintenance. This one is a 2-owner, 40,000 original miles. Almost everything's original except the rear muffler delete and the new head unit for the audio. It's clean, it's nice. This is better than I ever thought they could have been. I didn't know that they were this well put together, honestly. I thought I would get this and just make do until we get into the modification process, but
it's good.
It's tight. It has less creaks and rattles with the T-top and an extra 8 years on its life than my Tahoe does. Now, it's not a luxury mobile.
No.
But my God.
It was built for one purpose in mind.
Hooking and booking, baby.
Yeah. Some things I'm noticing I read so much about back in the day, because I had every issue of Car and Driver and Motor Trend of the era.
Back when it was print media.
I read every comparison between this, the Camaro, and the Mustang, and the #1 complaint is how big the dashboard is and how far and low the windshield is. I noticed that. It exists.
It exists.
Do I care? No.
Sit in a Corvette that everyone loves and tell me it's any better. It's not. It's a low slung car, and they had to put the seating position way back to get it that low.
Yeah.
Isn't it smooth?
Yes.
It drives like a Grand Tour that you can rag out, but you don't need to ring it out to get the power.
The Firebird of this generation especially had the Camaro beat out because everybody called the Camaro what?
Catfish.
Yeah, the Catfish Camaro. And you know what? I don't care. Like,
I don't hate the way the Camaros look.
Yeah.
As long as you're on like the 2000 and plus where they rounded the headlights. The square inset headlights are kind of not it for me, but once you get the facelifted one, so nice.
But you know what you get in the Firebird? Pop up and down headlights. Yeah. All right, so I know y'all are probably thinking what I'm thinking. Like, this platform is why I love vehicles. I would not be in the automotive industry if it weren't for the F-body, this generation, and this means a lot to me. The fact that there are signatures, the fact that this is the last one,
the last numbered Firehawk ever to be made, ever. They're actually not allowed to make them like this. Yeah. The F-body died because the government didn't like the bumper being this low.
I am split between, yeah, man, go for it, go hard, change it. But like you said, you're not a collector.
Yeah.
So about all that you've done was chop off the exhaust.
A couple things that it could be undone pretty quickly, but here in a couple weeks, we're going to start by making these heat extractors right here are non-functional. They're going to be made functional. The nose ram air is very functional. We're going to make it even more functional by dremeling out some more of that so it gets better breathability. The side right here, this can never exhaust engine heat. There's the firewalls ahead of it. What it can do is it can dump out that high pressure system that builds under the front tires. So we're going to make those, we're going to make these side vents functional for aerodynamic purposes, not cooling purposes, which, if you don't know, one of the reasons that the Dodge Daytona and Plymouth Superbird were such absolute dominators wasn't because they had the most powerful motor, but it's because their aero package was the best. And part of that was getting rid of that high pressure system in the front tire. So if it's good enough for NASCAR, it's good enough for me.
You say the firewall is ahead of the... Look how much windshield you got back here, man. What the heck?
Yeah, the windshield starts before the firewall does. It's a big windshield. So, if you are a parts manufacturer, a parts supplier, wholesaler, and you'd like to see some of your stuff on a piece of history that is going to remain a piece of history because we're taking the LAST Firehawk and we're letting it fly again. It will be on the track. It will be at car shows. It will be at the kindergarten pickup line. It will be doing everything that everybody wished they could have done if they had bought this car brand new upon release.
And you've got me excited for it all. That's why, like I said, I'm torn. Like,
yeah, I spent 33 and I'm looking to spend another 20 in parts.
Yeah.